Relationships are one of the most beautiful yet complex aspects of life. When a couple first falls in love, everything feels fresh, exciting, and full of possibility. But as time goes on, some women find themselves feeling disconnected, frustrated, or even disliking their husbands. Why does this happen? Is it inevitable? Or is there a way to prevent it? In this video, we'll explore the psychological, emotional, and social factors behind this phenomenon, and most importantly, what can be done to address it and strengthen the relationship. One of the biggest changes in a marriage happens emotionally. In the early years, both partners are usually focused on building a life together, raising kids, managing careers, and creating a home. But as women get older, many start reflecting on their own happiness and fulfillment. Research shows that women tend to be more emotionally expressive and introspective than men. If a husband isn't emotionally available or doesn't contribute equally to the relationship, resentment can build over time. Imagine carrying the emotional or mental load for decades. It's natural to start feeling disconnected or even dislike your partner if you feel unappreciated or unsupported. Over time, many women begin to wonder, am I truly happy? Am I just settling? This self-reflection can create a divide if the husband remains emotionally distant. And if there's no effort to bridge the gap, the emotional connection fades, leaving behind frustration and disappointment. That emotional disconnect can begin to impact every aspect of the relationship, from communication to intimacy. The more unaddressed frustrations pile up, the more difficult it becomes to restore closeness and affection. One of the most common reasons for relationship dissatisfaction is lack of communication. Many couples start off talking about everything, but as the years go by, conversations become routine. Men, in particular, are often socialized to avoid discussing emotions, which can leave women feeling unheard or unappreciated. A study from the Journal of Marriage and Family found that women are more likely to initiate difficult conversations, but if their husbands don't engage, it leads to frustration and emotional distance. When meaningful conversations stop, misunderstandings increase. Without proper communication, small issues can grow into major problems, making both partners feel more isolated. Think about it. When you feel like you're talking to a wall, how do you respond? You either shut down, lash out, or withdraw emotionally. None of these reactions foster intimacy. Over time, if a woman feels unheard or dismissed, her feelings may turn from love to resentment. The emotional burden becomes even heavier if she feels like she's constantly trying to fix things on her own. This can lead to a cycle where she stops trying to communicate at all, leading to a silent but growing emotional divide. Another major factor is the changing roles and expectations within a marriage. In many traditional relationships, women take on the bulk of household and caregiving responsibilities. They cook, clean, raise the children, and manage the household, all while working full-time jobs. At first, this imbalance may not seem like a big deal, but as the years go by, frustration builds. For example, once the kids are grown and retirement approaches, many women start questioning this dynamic. They want to focus on their own goals, passions, and dreams. But if their husbands still expect them to handle everything at home, resentment grows. Some women also feel disappointed when their husbands don't step up to share the responsibilities. It's a classic case of unmet expectations, and it can be a major strain on a relationship. This imbalance can leave women feeling taken for granted, especially if their efforts go unacknowledged. When we hear midlife crisis, we often picture a man buying a sports car, changing his wardrobe, or making impulsive decisions. But women go through midlife crises too. As they reach their 40s and 50s, many women start reevaluating their lives, including their marriages. They ask themselves, am I happy? Is this the life I wanted? Do I feel seen and appreciated? Would I be happier alone? If the answers aren't positive, it can lead to dissatisfaction, emotional distance, and even feelings of resentment. It doesn't necessarily mean they stop loving their husbands, but they might feel stuck, unfulfilled, or like they're missing out on something more. This dissatisfaction can sometimes lead to drastic life changes, such as seeking independence, new hobbies, or even reconsidering the future of the marriage. A lesser discussed but very real issue is emotional burnout. Women often carry the invisible mental load in relationships. They remember birthdays, schedule doctor's appointments, handle school responsibilities, and manage the emotional needs of the family. This constant mental strain can lead to exhaustion. If a husband doesn't recognize or appreciate this work, a woman might feel like she's in a one-sided partnership. Over time, exhaustion turns into frustration, frustration turns into bitterness, and bitterness can turn into resentment. And once resentment sets in, it's difficult to maintain feelings of love and admiration. At that point, even the little things, like an offhand comment or a forgotten anniversary, can feel like major betrayals. The weight of emotional exhaustion is something that can gradually wear down even the strongest of bonds. Another critical factor is intimacy, or the lack of it. Physical intimacy isn't just about sex. It's about affection, emotional closeness, and feeling desired. As couples grow older, intimacy often declines due to stress, routine, or unresolved conflicts. Women may start feeling neglected, unattractive, or like their needs don't matter. If a husband stops making an effort, whether it's through compliments, affectionate gestures, or shared moments of intimacy, his wife may start to feel emotionally disconnected. And once that happens, negative feelings toward the relationship can start creeping in. Intimacy requires continuous effort. When one partner stops prioritizing it, the other feels emotionally distant, which further damages the bond. The good news? It's never too late to turn things around. Here are some key steps couples can take to rebuild and strengthen their relationships. Prioritize communication. Make time for real, meaningful conversations. Talk about your feelings, goals, and concerns. It's not just about venting. It's about listening and understanding each other. Set aside time to connect, no distractions, no interruptions. Honest, open dialogue can repair emotional wounds and foster closeness. Share responsibilities. If one partner has been carrying the load for too long, it's time to rebalance. Household chores, financial planning, and emotional support should be a shared responsibility. A balanced partnership leads to a happier relationship. Showing appreciation for each other's contributions can make a significant difference. Reignite the spark. Don't let your relationship become stagnant. Plan date nights, try new activities together, and remind each other why you fell in love in the first place. Small gestures, like compliments, surprises, or simple acts of kindness, can make a huge difference. Emotional and physical connection should be nurtured consistently. Show appreciation. Everyone wants to feel valued. Acknowledge each other's efforts, say thank you, and express gratitude regularly. Feeling appreciated can transform a relationship. Little things, like a heartfelt compliment or an act of kindness, can rebuild lost connections. Embrace change together. Life is full of transitions, career changes, kids leaving home, retirement. Couples who adapt and evolve together strengthen their bond. Instead of fearing change, embrace it as a new adventure. Growth should be a shared experience. Seek professional help. There's no shame in seeing a couples therapist. Sometimes, an outside perspective can help identify underlying issues and offer solutions you may not have considered. Therapy can provide tools to improve communication and rekindle the emotional bond. Relationships are a journey, and like any journey, there are ups and downs. It's normal to go through rough patches, but with understanding, communication, and effort, it's possible to keep the love alive. If you're feeling disconnected in your marriage, don't lose hope. Change is possible if both partners are willing to put in the work.